It's a bright, clear day in Los Angeles, which is funny because it's about to stop meaning anything. You're outside a villa with a great view of a quiet suburban neighborhood. Clean streets, green lawns, the kind of place where nothing bad is supposed to happen. You're dressed like a cowboy, boots scuffed, hat a little crooked, entertaining a group of kids who think you're the coolest person alive. Your daughter stands next to you in a matching outfit, helping with the act, smiling like the world is safe and predictable. So congratulations! You're a normal human being. You have a job, you have a kid, you have plans for dinner. Naturally, this is when the bomb goes off. There's no dramatic countdown, just a sudden flash of white light so bright it erases the sky for a second. You don't hear the explosion right away. Your brain hasn't caught up yet. It's still trying to process why the sun just turned into a wall. Then the shockwave hits. You grab your daughter, throw her onto the horse, and you ride. Not because you're brave, but because every survival instinct you've ever had just screamed at once. Somewhere very far away, a government agency is already preparing a press release. Somewhere slightly closer, a corporation is deleting internal emails that warned this exact reactor failure would happen. But that's not your problem right now. Your problem is that the heat is peeling the skin off your back. You should be dead. That's how radiation works. Hair falls out, organs shut down, you die. End of story. Except you don't. Instead, you wake up days later in a makeshift shelter with your skin blistered, cracked, and already starting to rot. Your hair is gone, your throat burns, your blood feels thick. People look at you funny, not scared yet, more like confused, like they're trying to figure out why you're still breathing. Give it time. Radiation poisoning turns into something else. Your cells stop dying and start mutating. Burns never heal properly. Flesh slows off, but doesn't fall away. Your immune system gives up entirely, then somehow rebuilds itself wrong. You smell like decay no matter how often you wash. Congratulations. Unfortunately, now you're a ghoul. This only means a few important things. First, you're not dying anytime soon. Second, you're never going to look normal again. And third, people are going to have opinions about that. At first, people try to help. They bring water, medicine, blankets. They tell you it'll pass, that doctors will fix it, that someone will be held responsible. You almost believe them. After all, this is still the old world, right? There are rules, there are systems. Bad things happen, but someone eventually answers for them. Then your nose falls off. Not dramatically. It doesn't explode or anything, it just loosens. You know, one morning you wake up, touch your face, and your fingers come away wet. Later, when you catch your reflection in a cracked mirror, the hole where it used to be stares back at you like it's been there all along. That's usually when the conversations change. People stop sitting close to you. They stop offering handshakes. Kids who were just laughing yesterday get pulled behind their parents' legs when you walk past. Someone starts opening windows when you enter a room. Someone else suggests you should probably eat outside, just to be safe. You hear new words now. Contaminated, unstable, not exactly human anymore. But of course, no one says them to your face at first. They say them near you, loud enough that you're supposed to hear them, quiet enough that they can deny it later. Eventually, someone has an idea. Maybe it's safer if you stay over there. Over there starts as a spare building, then a cordoned-off street, then a fenced section of land just outside town. They tell you it's temporary. They always do. Just until doctors figure this out. Just until supplies stabilize. Just until everyone feels safer. Funny thing about temporary solutions, they have a habit of sticking around. Soon everyone over there looks at you. Burned skin, missing pieces, eyes that don't quite focus the same way anymore. You recognize the fear in their faces because it's the same one you feel when you look in a mirror. But you notice something interesting about these camps. They never get better. The fences get higher, but the shelters don't improve. Supplies arrive late, if at all. Medicine runs out faster than it should. Guards are posted on the outside facing in. No one talks about rebuilding. No one talks about reintegration. No one brings their kids to visit. And no one seems particularly worried about fixing the problem. Because from the outside, it already looks solved. You're contained. You are out of sight. And most importantly, you're still alive, which means technically nobody killed you. And that, apparently, is good enough. Your body keeps going. You don't need much food. You don't need clean water. Radiation doesn't hurt anymore. In fact, it feels warm, almost comforting. You get shot once by accident during a scuffle, and after a few weeks, the wound closes like it never happened. People notice this too. They stop seeing you as sick, and they start seeing you as useful. Need someone to scout an irradiated zone? That's you. Need someone to clear feral ghouls out of a subway? That's also you. Need someone to do something dangerous that humans don't come back from? Well, you're still standing. Now, about feral ghouls. Yeah, that's the other thing. The part nobody likes to talk about for too long, because if you do, it starts feeling a little too personal. Not all ghouls stay like you. Some do, some don't. And there's no test, no scan, no checklist that tells you which category you're in. Over time, maybe years, maybe decades, some of them start losing pieces of themselves. Not all at once, that would at least be honest. It happens in small, almost polite ways. First, it's memory. Someone forgets a name they've known forever, forgets where they put their weapon, asks the same question twice in the same conversation, and doesn't notice they're doing it. Everyone pretends it's nothing. Stress, maybe, or bad sleep. Happens to everyone, right? Then it's language. Sentences trail off, words come out wrong, jokes don't land because the punchline never arrives. You watch them search their heads for something that used to live there, like someone patting their pockets for keys that aren't coming back. Then restraint starts slipping. They get angry, faster, louder, all over things that don't matter. A missing ration, a look they don't like, a sound. They stop apologizing afterward. They stop noticing they should. Eventually, they turn into something else entirely. Fast, relentless. Pain stops registering. Fear disappears. What's left is a screaming, clawing thing that attacks anything alive because attacking is the only behavior still wired in. That is a feral ghoul. Nobody knows why it happens. Some say it's time. Others blame radiation exposure, trauma, isolation, guilt. Maybe it's all of it. Maybe it's none of it. There are ghouls who've survived 200 years with their minds intact, and others who snapped within weeks of the bombs falling. Nobody knows when it'll happen. There's no countdown, no warning light, no last good day circled on a calendar. You don't wake up one morning and feel feral. You just wake up one morning and don't wake up all the way. Everyone knows it'll happen to someone. That's the part that never goes away. Every ghoul you meet is quietly watching the others. Not openly, not obviously, just little checks, all the time. A pause that lasts too long. A sentence that doesn't finish. A stare that doesn't blink. A hand that tightens around a weapon for no clear reason. You start doing it too. You memorize people's patterns, the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they laugh, because the moment one of those patterns breaks, you need to know whether to step closer or draw your gun. One day, you're talking to your neighbor about nothing important. Old world stuff, a memory neither of you is sure is real anymore. The next day, they're lunging at you with their teeth bared, eyes empty, nails ripping at the air like you're just another piece of meat. You don't hesitate. You can't afford to. You put them down, and afterward, you don't feel relief. You feel something worse. Recognition. Because the difference between you and them wasn't a choice. It was timing. So you take the drug, the inhaler, the little chemical promise that keeps your thoughts lined up in a row instead of spilling everywhere. It doesn't make you safe. It just makes you today. You ration it, you hoard it, you count doses like they're days left in a sentence. And every night before you sleep, you ask yourself the same question you never say loud. Am I still me? Then you close your eyes, sleep tight. You learn to take the drug, not all at once, not willingly. At first you tell yourself you don't need it, you're fine, you're sharper than most. You remember names, faces, dates, you finish your sentences. Then you forget why you walked into a room, just for a second, long enough to notice. That's when someone hands you the inhaler. It's small, ugly, pre-war plastic that smells faintly like rust and chemicals. No brand name, no instructions, just a warning scratched into the side by someone who learned the hard way. You don't ask where it came from. In the wasteland, asking questions is how you end up disappointed. You take your first hit, and it burns, just enough to remind you that something is happening. The chemical taste crawls down your throat and settles in your chest. For a moment, nothing changes. Then the fog pulls back, thoughts line up again, memories stop sliding away from you when you try to grab them. You remember your name without effort. You laugh a little too hard. Relief has a sound, and that's it. The inhaler doesn't cure anything. It doesn't rebuild neurons or fix whatever radiation rewired in your brain. It just slows the clock, keeps the gears turning smoothly enough that you don't hear them grinding. So you take it every day. You tell yourself it's just preventative. Just until things stabilize. Just until someone figures out a real solution. You've heard those lines before, but you repeat them anyway because they sound better than the alternative. And hey, it works. Mostly. You still lose time sometimes. Little gaps, moments that feel thin, like someone edited them out. You'll find yourself standing somewhere with no clear memory of walking there. You'll finish a conversation and realize you don't remember how it started. You start setting routines, same order every morning, same path through camp, same checks, same reminders carved shallow into your skin or written on scraps of paper you keep in your pockets. You double-check your weapon before sleeping. You count your doses before traveling. You never ever let yourself run out. Because you've seen what happens when someone does. You've watched Ghoul stretch a dose too far, trying to save it for later, trying to prove they're stronger than the clock, trying to pretend they're still in control. They're usually the ones who snap without warning. So you ration food instead of medicine, you trade favors instead of bullets, you kill for this drug when you have to, and afterward you tell yourself you had no choice. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you just really like remembering who you are. Some days, even with the inhaler, the fog doesn't fully lift. You'll catch yourself staring at your hands, trying to remember why they look familiar. You'll say someone's name and feel a brief flash of panic because you're not sure how you know it. On those days, you take another hit. You promise yourself it'll be the last extra one. You always break that promise. Still, most days, it works. You can talk, you can plan, you can hesitate before pulling the trigger. You can feel guilt when you should, and fear when it makes sense. You can tell yourself that as long as those things are still there, you're winning. And maybe you are. Or maybe you're just renting your own mind one dose at a time, hoping the lease never runs out. Years pass, then decades, then enough time that counting feels pointless. Calendars rot, clocks stop, even memories lose their edges. Time doesn't move forward anymore. It just piles up. The world rebuilds badly, the way it always does. Settlements rise from scrap metal, bones, and things that used to matter. People argue over water, land, and power like the bombs never taught them anything. Some places let ghouls in. Most don't. A few shoot on sight, just to be safe. They call it caution. You call it efficiency. At least they're honest about it. You stop correcting people when they call you it. Correcting them implies you still expect something better. You stop remembering what it felt like to be Howard Cooper. Not all at once, just in pieces. First the sound of your own voice, then the weight of your name, eventually even the idea that it even mattered. What's left comes back in flashes. A stage light burning hot against your eyes, a laugh that doesn't sound like yours anymore, a small hand gripping yours like the world couldn't touch her as long as you were there. You don't know if your daughter survived. Some days you hope she didn't. Other days, you hope she did and never thinks of you again. You keep going anyway, not because you're brave, not because you have a purpose. You keep going because stopping doesn't actually stop anything. Death is optional now, and memory is negotiable. That's the thing about being a ghoul. You don't get a heroic ending. You don't get closure. You don't even get a clean fade out. You get to outlive your mistakes. You get to watch the world forget why it hated you and keep hating you anyway. You get to feel yourself thinning out. Not dying. Just less. One day, maybe decades from now, you'll wake up and the inhaler won't be enough. You'll forget your name, then your rules. Then why did you ever care about not hurting anyone? Someone you once trusted will see the look in your eyes and raise a gun. They'll call it mercy. And maybe they'll be right. Because in the end, surviving the apocalypse doesn't make you strong. It just means the apocalypse gets to keep you. forever.